Theoretical Thursday build. I wanted to make an extra upload this week to keep the momentum going, with today's episode being a theory build based on the upcoming set. Disclosure, I haven't playtested this deck, but I'm looking at overall cards in conjunction with one another. This deck goes for cheeky security checks, and while very fun to play on a casual level, I don't see this making it to national level events, mainly because security control is a thing. Without further ado, let's go over a theoretical build on Tyrannomon Aggro. The card by card, the strengths, the weaknesses, and the combos. This deck runs 5 level 2s, 17 level 3s, 14 level 4s, 4 level 5s, 9 option cards, and 6 tamers. This deck is designed with an extremely aggressive rush strategy. And again, keep in mind this deck has not been tested, but if you think of any improvements, let me know in the comments below. For level 2s, this deck runs 4 Babydomon and 1 Demimeramon. With Babydomon, this deck just needs 1 Taiga to make all of your Tyrannomon Digimon piercers. That extra plus 2000 DP is critical in some matchups, and in other cases can help you survive against certain Digimon. As for Demimeramon, a little bit more generic. I chose this over Yokomon for the fact that I have to explicitly swing into a Digimon versus just swinging. Come game 2, your opponent will be less likely going into security if they can't guarantee deletion of the Digimon. For level 3s, this deck runs 3 Monodramon, 2 BT1 Agumon, 4 Starter Deck 1 Agumon, 4 Starter Deck 7 Agumon, and 4 Starter Deck 7 Guilmon. Monodramon is a cheap 2-cost body that you can on-play. With BT1 Agumon, you're utilizing the search capability to find Marcus Daemon and Taiga. Taiga being one of the cornerstone tamers for your Tyrannomon. The Starter Deck Agumons are there for generic DP boost. Again, plus 1000 DP for swinging into bodies, and 2k for swinging into the security. Finally, Guilmon. This Digimon lets you draw a card when your opponent's Digimon is deleted. Whether they choose to swing or not, they might chip a security away from you, but net you a card. Is that honestly worth it? For level 4s, this deck runs 4 BT1 Tyrannomon, 3 Dark Tyrannomon, 3 EX1 Tyrannomon, and 4 Geo Greymon. BT1 Tyrannomon is your MVP level 4 of the build, because honestly, if your Digimon has jamming, does that really matter? There are many option cards that can make this particular Tyrannomon more deadly, but we'll go over that in the combos when we get there. Dark Tyrannomon is your generic cheap Evo body up, with EX1 Tyrannomon being one of the new additions that not only further buffs your level 5s, but allows you to play Taiga if you don't have it on the field. Geo Greymon is an extra surprise factor, especially when it's checked in the security, and a great countermeasure to rookies from Agubond and Gabubond. For level 5s, you just run 4 Metal Tyrannomon. With all the piercing and DP additions, this boy can get big. Nothing too special here, since there's only 1 red Metal Tyrannomon to go into. For option cards, this is where a lot of your combo plays come in, with 2 A Delicate Plan, 2 Red Memory Boost, 1 Gaia Force, and 4 Lightning Joust. There's a lot going on here. A Delicate Plan is a mandatory at this point to remove your opponent's options in security. Memory Boost helps make sure you have memory to use your option cards if you don't happen to have Marcus out. 1 Lone Gaia Force for destruction if needed, and the MVP card of aggressive red decks, Lightning Joust. Main, one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. Then, if you have equal or fewer security cards than your opponent, this Digimon gets plus 1 security check. And like Ice Wall, this card stacks. Finally, for Tamers, there's 4 copies of Taiga for not just cheaper evolution costs for Tyrannomon, but the piercing ability as well. As for Marcus, he's also there to primarily give you a plus 1 memory when you swing with Geo Greymon, in addition to stabilizing your memory to 3. The strength of this deck lies in its very aggressive nature. With cheaper evolutions, there's a lot of capability to use option cards to increase not just your DP, but the number of hits into security as well. The primary weakness with this deck would lie in several factors. First, decks that are blocker heavy can make swinging with the security difficult. The upside is, with piercing for all of your Tyrannomon Digimon, and any extra buffs, sometimes it might not even matter. Security control is the main problem that this deck might have issues with. With board wipe after board wipe, managing your resources effectively is very important. Because there's no hybrids in the deck, there's no way to really have a finisher to end the game. Combos with this deck would rely on your BT1 Tyrannomon and combine it with a Delicate Plan and Lightning Joust. This is the perfect Digimon to check multiple times in security, because it has jamming and would be able to negate option cards. Remember, with Lightning Joust, this also buffs Tyrannomon to survive against 6k and 7k DP blockers, and with Taiga, your boy also has piercing. Otherwise, there's always the one check at a time. But luckily, GeoGreymon does help provide some extra body on the board as well, to swing for lethal if needed. While this deck isn't super meta, it does have some fun to it. What do you think of Tyrannomon Aggro? Do you think red is the correct color choice, or is green the safer option? With green, you may have access to powerful cards like Rust Tyrannomon, but with green, you lose a lot of buff capabilities and extra security checks. Sure, you could splash red Taikamiya in for Lightning Joust, but I honestly didn't like the build in theory on paper. As always, this is DIGI-PANDA. Logging out.